Hey, what's up guys? It's Apollo Uchiha here and welcome back to my channel. Today I am back with yet another dark What If Naruto. And as you guessed from the title, what if neglected Naruto became a curse for Konoha? And yeah guys, it is an unscripted story. Now before continuing this, shout out is due where it is due. Shout out to Chalk Ram Mahanit. I hope I pronounced your name right, but if I didn't, shout out to you because alongside him, most of you guys were interested in the concept of SCP 173. You know, the peanut statue that I was talking about yesterday? Yeah, his idea is quite different, and to be honest, I quite like this one. So I'm gonna be making a story out of this, so I hope you enjoy this one, and if you do, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and follow me on my Mira What If channel as well. And without any further ado, let's begin with our today's story. Our story begins in Konoha Gakure no Sato, on the night of the QB attack. As we go towards the front line where we see the visage of the QB has finally fallen. As there were cheers and roars occurring everywhere from the shinobis and konoichis who have fought with their lives on the line in order to protect their home. Minato no Mikaze, the fourth Hokage, has used Shinigami and exchanged a part of his soul, not his soul entirely, in order for the QB's defeat, and the Shinigami obliged, and the QB was split into three parts and sealed within three kids, Menma, Mito, and Naruto, his three children who were born a few hours ago. While Menma and Mito, the older two, who possessed the chakra, were fine, some oddities begin to appear on Naruto. His eyes, his whisker marks, they were different. His eyes, which were blue before, had turned red, but not like QB. They were still human. And his whisker marks, like scars, have darkened as well, which he was born with. But at the time, Minato had ignored that, and has brought all of his three kids to safety, while the people cheered and mourned their loved ones who had died, and for the victory that they have gotten. After a few hours, Kushina Uzumaki, who had passed out and was taken in by medics during this time, has woken up and was now under her watchful eyes, monitoring as the doctors made sure that the kids were fine. But her eyes were stuck onto Naruto because of the oddities. As the doctor left, leaving only Minato and Kushina inside the room, we see Kushina spoke. "Something is wrong with Naruto." "What did you do, Minato?" "Nothing. I just used the Hakai Fuin seal. But in exchange for a few years of my life, I requested the Shinigami. It was a huge gamble, but one I was willing to take at any cost. And it worked. But why are his eyes different and his facial marks? They're like whiskers, I know. This happened after the QB's soul was sealed within him." "Do you think something is wrong with the seal?" "No. I checked it while you were recovering. Nothing is wrong. It might be a side effect." "Yeah, he is a newborn after all. And QB, even if he is split into three parts, is quite the strongest Biju still." "I agree with you." As this was going on, we see the door slid open of the room, and in came Jiraiya, one of the legendary Sanins of Konoha and sensei of Minato. "Well kid, congratulations. You not only saved the village but also managed to become a father of three kids. I'm happy for both you and Kushina. So where are my godchildren?" "It's good to see you too, sensei. Welcome. Come, meet them. This is Menma, this is Mito, and this is Naruto. Huh, aren't they well cutest of the bunch?" "Well, how did you do it?" As Minato began to explain, Hiruzen Sarutobi, the third Hokage who has taken the first stand in the fight, had also appeared and greeted his student as well. As Minato debriefed, and that is how we ended up here. As both Hiruzen and Jiraiya were in deep thought, as Jiraiya then said, "The people are not happy." "What? What do you mean by that, sensei? How did you get the dad after everything I told you?" "The destruction is too much, Minato. The people, they will want answers. And you know, I have already told you beforehand about the prophecy. Prophecy? Said Kushina. We never talked about any prophecy, Minato. I was going to talk about this, but later. I think we should wait, Sensei. No! No, we shouldn't. And besides, I brought Tsunade here to make sure and attest if my hunch is correct. Tsunade is here? Yeah, she's helping out the medics. She'll be here soon. And so within an hour, Tsunade arrived. Hello, Kushina. Minato. Sensei, it's good to have you back, Tsunade. I'm only here for a few hours. After that, I'll be leaving on my own back to where I came from. I see. When are you going to cut it, Sensei? I don't wish to speak about that. I've left that in the past and moved on. Have you? Listen, if you want my help, I'll stay. But if you don't, and if you only wish to talk about this matters, then I'll leave. Please stay. This is your home, after all. No, it isn't. Well, we are the kids. And so, she began to check the kids until she find something quite odd. Huh, interesting. She said, over Mito, what is it? Asked Minato with a little bit of fear. Naruto was already defective in his eyes because of his eyes and whisker marks. He was obviously going to be the most easiest target for the people. The chakra of these two kids is enormous. You mean because of the Kyuubi's chakra? No. Not because of the Kyuubi's chakra. Their own chakra pools are quite large. At least Kage level chakras already. You're saying that they're... I knew it. That is why I brought here the proof. Listen. We have to leave now, Minato. What? Now? But what about the village and what about... Listen. Sensei is here. He will be able to handle this all. I mean, he has before. But I'm retired, Jiraiya. And the village needs his current Kage. Of course it needs it. But you can act as a stand-in Kage for him. Listen, Sensei, the fate of the whole world rests upon these two children's shoulders. If they're not trained from the beginning with discipline and the way I want to teach them, there would be catastrophe. And to make sure that doesn't happen, I have to leave with them now. Minato and Kushina alongside with me. So you're just gonna dump the third child here? You do know that that child has weaker chakra coils and normal chakra pool of a child. If he's left here, then what of him would happen? What about your enemies attacking him? Listen, he looks like a demon. I know what I'm saying is wrong, but you have two perfect kids. He is, well, the perfect scapegoat. As both Tsunade as well as Hiruzen were shocked of what Jiraiya was saying. Jiraiya! Mind your tone! What the hell do you think you're saying? Minato, I apologize on... It's alright, Hiruzen-sama. I think me and Kushina have agreed. What? How can you agree to this? This is child abuse. It is not. The boy looks like a demon. Maybe his soul merged with the Kyuubi. He has to remain here, alive, not harmed. Maybe in the future, once we return, we will try to find a solution, but until then, he is to be the one to take the blame for all this. And shown as the Kyuubi's Jinchuriki. Not Mito. Then what about you two? What am I supposed to tell them? That the earth swallowed them whole? No. Tell them that we are recovering in a secluded location. We passed out and are in a comatose state. No one is allowed to meet us. This is insane. No, Sensei, this is the perfect plan, said Jiraiya. Look, I know both of you are worried and think that this is inhumane. This is inhumane, Jiraiya, says Tsunade. Look, Hime, this is not. The boy will have to take the fall for his siblings to fly. That is how the elemental nation works. We have to make smaller sacrifices. Smaller sacrifices? That is an innocent child's life that you're destroying for a vague words of a drunken old toad. Enough, Hime. I have listened and gotten abused by you before, but I will not tolerate my clan's mockery. especially the elders. Go ahead then. I'm out of here. I told you, Sensei, Susunade, as she stopped at the door on her heel. This village, its soul got consumed by corruption. Jiraiya over here is a prime example of that. As he may left, we see Jiraiya then said, don't worry about her, she'll come around. I'll make sure of that. All you have to do is just make sure Naruto takes the blame and is considered the Tsuriki while we vanish. I don't wish to do it. It is my order to you as Hokage. I will comply then, Hokage-sama, said Hiruzen, his jaw clenched and fist clenched so tightly that his knuckles were white. I don't wish to do this, but I have no other choice. He has given me a direct command now. Damn it. Might as well have given the position of the Kage to Danzo rather than him. Or even Orochimaru. And so, once Minato and Kushina disappeared, Hiruzen, taking the child, arrived inside the council chamber. And once they saw the child, they asked. And once they finally realized who he was, they became enraged. They wanted the child, or thing as they called it, to be killed, destroyed, erased from the records, and burned alive. But Hiruzen, he knew this was an innocent child, so he vowed that he would protect him. No, I told you all over and over again. This child is to be protected. If he dies, the Kyuubi will be released. Think of it as a prison for the Kyuubi. It is vacant there. It can't do anything to us. And so people grumbled, because Hiruzen made it a law. Time began to pass by. A few years of his life were easy, until he reached at the age of 4 when he was kicked out of the orphanage and was left to fend on his own on the streets. Even the guards at the Hokage office wouldn't allow him inside to get help. Hiruzen was drowned deliberately by the council in too much paperwork, so much so for weeks to no end he didn't leave his office, slept on the couch while doing paperwork, as food was brought in from his home for him. Naruto had no other choice but to dumpster dive. Nobody would help him. Nobody would help a crying 4-year-old child. 1 year passed. It was October 9th and the 5th year anniversary of the Kyuubi's attack. Naruto, feeling hungry, began to dumpster dive, trying to find anything just to eat. But so far no luck. Knew he had to go to the dumpsters near the town, since he lived on the outskirts near the red light district in the alleyway. So Naruto, taking the risk, went, but it was already nighttime. As soon as he saw bread, he was grabbed by the neck and thrown against a wall, and then some drunken men surrounded him and beat the crap out of him, calling him names like demon and other stuff. He saw an Anbu then. Help! He yelled out, trying to get his attention. The dog mask Anbu, turned towards him, but instead of helping him, his hands cackled with lightning and stabbed straight through his heart. As the child's eyes widened with fear and tears still in his eyes, his body slumped to the ground. What have you done? You damn idiot! You freed the Kyuubi! No, I didn't. You all saw nothing. Now we will have to tell the Kage. Kage told us to do whatever we wished to do, but never to kill him. You killed him. You doomed us all, but Inu knew that he had to do something, so he killed all of them, and then took the body of the boy and brought it to the Forest of Death. There, he saw some old bricks laying around, thrown there by the masons. He dug out a grave in which he began to place the bricks above the body in a manner of a statue, and then buried it on the ground. As now we see, Naruto was dead, and so was the soul of the Kyuubi, up in the heaven while this went down on earth. 3 goddesses were pissed beyond reasoning. Way beyond reasoning. because Naruto's soul has returned, and he was terrified. Once they saw his life, while judging him, they realized who he was. Yami was the one who found out and informed Kami, and Shinigami joined in, and the three goddesses, they were beyond pissed. So much so that they wanted to incur their own wrath, but they stopped because of their divine vow. They like to play God with the prophecies, right? Well, it's time to show them what a true world-ending disaster looked like. I'm gonna free that monster. That is a good idea. That monster. It would be a hell for them. As Kami nodded, I agree with both of you. But make minor adjustments so that no innocents are harmed. And if all the Jinchurikis are harmed and treated like this, then all of them will be turning into this. And so, that is what happened. In the middle of the night, the same place in the heavy rain dug itself out. Instead of Naruto, it was his body, in the form of a T-pose, which was turned into a statue. And then it began to move fast, and appeared in front of civilians. Well, look at here. If it isn't some demon lover who created the statue of the dead demon, might as well piss on it. As the man closed his eyes and was about to open his pants before crack, his neck snapped. The nearby people watched in horror and screams. Many tried to run away. Snap, 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 and snap. Multiple people began to die out. Many of them did. So much so that there was a full-out mayhem. But the statue didn't stop. He was killing left and right everyone. Once you glanced at him and looked away, you were dead. People did not know how or why until Hiruzen arrived and looked towards him directly. An ambush surrounded him. People watched in horror. Nobody blinked. As Hiruzen did, and it inched towards him, as everyone jumped back. What the hell? How is it that possible? Stop blinking. You must look at it. If you continue to do so, it won't move. But Inu, a gust of wind blew into his ear, and he blinked. Kakashi, no! As snap. His neck was snapped in half. Statue stood in front of him, his hands in front, neck looking towards Hiruzen with a tilted head. And Hiruzen's eyes widened as he saw tears coming down from the statue's eyes. Oh my god. This is not a statue. This is something else. Well, similar situation arrived and happened in Takigakure, Iwagakure, and Sunagakure. Kiri had no Jinchuriki because Yagura was dead, so they were safe as well. And those statues, they were killing millions, if not thousands, left and right, all because people did not know. And so 8 guards were appointed. 1 guard would have to keep his eyes on it at all cost. And so that is how the shifts were made. While the statue's area was contained, the people were evacuated, and that area of the town of Konoha had become barren. Hiruzen called for a Kage summit after finding out that things were going wrong everywhere, and they dubbed it SCP-173. Why 173? Because that was the time, 17th hour and 3rd minute, when that anomaly happened. A statue appeared in the middle of the rain and began to cause mayhem and deaths of millions of people who looked away from it after looking at it. As now we see, Hiruzen was seated. We need to find a way to contain them. We tried to destroy them, burn them, drown them. Any way possible to destroy them is met with nothing more than uselessness. We wasted resources. We tried using seals, even they don't work. How are we gonna stop that monster? Why do they even appear? Jinchurikis, said Oniki. What? Those are the statues similar to the Jinchurikis who have been mistreated. They turned into those anomalies that we call SCP-173. So what? What are we going to do? Are we supposed to just wait and sit and let them kill and murder more? Well, our Jinchurikis are sane because we treat them like people, so we don't have that anomaly. This is your mess to deal with, not ours. But if those statues turn towards us, we will have your neck for that, said Kiri and Kumo, while the others, they looked towards one another. We have to do something about this. Iron Country is not supportive of this event as well. These anomalies, they are triggers of your wrongdoings, and you'll be the only ones to correct them. While the statue in Konoha was, as it was, Akatsuki arrived, because they knew this was the statue of the Jinchuriki and they were interested in it alongside with the Orochimaru. But they made the same mistake. One glance and then look away, snap, 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 and snap. Hiran, Kakuzu, Deidara, Sasori were gone. And once they blinked, Konan died. And next time Nagato. Then came Obito and then Zetsu. Not a single person was spared because they were too terrified. Because being in front of the real thing took guts, and that is something that they have never faced, and that is why they failed. While this was going on around the Elemental Nation, Hiruzen arrived and wrote down a letter to Minato and Kushina, who read it through Jiraiya, and they were shocked of what they have found. Naruto is dead. What? What do you mean he's dead? He's dead. The people of Konoha killed him. Kakashi did. He tried to bury him in the Forest of Death. But somehow, by some twist of fate, he turned into a haunting statue that kills. If you glance at him and look away. As Menma and Mito gasped, and so did Minato and Kushina. So you're saying my son has turned into a killing machine who is a statue? Yes. That is quite hard to believe, Sensei. And what about the prophecy? Is this the great threat? As that is when a toad appeared. Kamamaru-sama has called you all. Don't keep us waiting. And so, Minato and Jiraiya and the others obliged, but Minato and Jiraiya realized that the tone was off and something was very, very wrong. Once they arrived, the whole clan was gathered. Here are the offenders, said Gamabunta, and that is when they froze. What do you mean, offenders? We're the part of the clan. Come on, guys, where's the love? Why are you all acting so different and cold towards us all of a sudden? Because you destroyed this world. You and your ego, Jiraiya. Yours as well, Minato, Kushina. Yours foolishness. What do you mean by that? We just did what you told us to do. We trained the kids to become the next child of prophecy. No, you didn't do that. You tried to play God with the prophecy. We only showed you the true words of which Kami has told us, and that was a child from you. It could have been any child, but the real child of prophecy not only died, he was murdered. He was abused. He was neglected. By you, by Konoha, by this world. And now Kami, Yami, and Shinigami has decided to neglect you all by unleashing one of the strongest monsters that the Shinigami has created with the help of Yami. That statue is a curse. A curse not only for Konoha, but of the rest of the Elemental Nation as well. We do not know the extent of the damage it will cause, but I know it is dangerous. Dangerous beyond reasoning. We can destroy it. Go ahead and try. But the contract between us and you are void. Leave us the hell alone. We have nothing to do with you. And so, they were abandoned in front of the gates of Konoha. Once they returned, they were thrown and met with tomatoes and glares, being cursed at and yelled at. You did this to us. You told us that he was a demon. And suddenly, Menma and Mito looked towards the statue. Don't! And then looked away. The statue disappeared. Snap. Snap. 2 snaps were heard. The faces of Menma and Mito were facing one another. One facing complete left and one facing complete right. A bone popping into the front, indicating that the neck has been dislocated, causing them to foam from the mouth and die from suffocation. As Minato and Kushina froze, alongside with Jiraiya, "Do not look away." As Kushina, tears in her eyes, looked down, closing her eyes to wipe away the mist, and then she was the next. Her neck ripped from her body as she fell. And it was Minato next. He watched his family died in front of him, at the hands of the son he abandoned, who has turned into a monster. "Naruto, if you're in there, please wake up from this, son. I am your father. I'm here for you." Minato took a step close. The statue didn't do anything, just looked towards him. "Kage-sama, please wait." He wouldn't do anything. Not to his And that was the only thing Minato could say, because he went for a hug and closed his eyes. The neck snapped. Minato at his dying moments realized this was not his son. It was his body haunting, alongside with the might of Kyuubi, because he heard the Kyuubi's laugh and utter the word "suffer" like he did and I did. It was an agonizing and really brutal death. Jiraiya tried to attack, but his arms literally cleaved off from his body, followed by his legs, and then the upper half of his face was ripped out, while the statue stood still. Similar things were happening on the other side. Gaara's statue killed off the Sabuko family, and those who tried to murder him, the council. Similar thing could be said for Iba, which was half of it wiped out because of the racism against the Jinchurikis. All the while, in Taki, the whole village was wiped out clean, except for the leader who treated Fu as a girl and his sister. The Elemental Nation was shaken, because these monsters known as SCP-173 had emerged, and they were made all because of negligence of Konoha. Negligence of the child that they have labeled as monsters. And by the joint wrath of Kami and Shinigami, they have turned and emerged as monsters, haunting them to the rest of their lives. People abandoned the areas where the statues were sighted. One brave volunteer, an older one, would always have to make the sacrifice. Stare at the statue until it was too late. Try to get away, but if it was not possible, then close his eyes and die. That is how the people survived now. But the statue always managed to find people. More monsters. The only ones were a few given people and kind-hearted ones who survived the encounter. The rest didn't. The people and the civilization was thinning down. And those who were kind realized just how bad they all were. If they were all thinning down so fast and easily, they vowed that the death of these people will be the death of the shinobi nation, hoping that the monsters would rest. But the monsters knew, even then the people will cause corruption, because that is what all they ever do. But for the first time, after the Elemental Nation fell silent from the shinobis and bandits and other monsters, these monsters, SCP-173, gathered in one place, looking towards one another, and then stopped. Time passed, nature grew, and even grass grew on top of them. The statue still existed. Nobody was allowed to go inside the forest, dubbed SCP-173 Forest, and cameras were installed there to monitor that forest to make sure that they never venture out, or nobody ventures in chase of thrill and awaken those monsters that had thinned them down to the point that they all were nothing more than a given few hundred people. as this is where I'm going to be leaving this dark story off, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one, and if you did, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you like the content of this channel, and follow me on my Meta What If channel as well. I know I have made 2 stone statue stories in a row, but hear me out. I'm kind of, enjoying this content, but I promise I'm not gonna be focusing on, statues more. Maybe in a few different SCPs like the crocodile thingy that is unkillable. Yeah, I know about a few of the SCPs. I watched Jacksepticeye's videos on a few of the old games of his, but I never really got the whole scenario and grasped it. But yeah, do let me know some of the SCPs that are quite cool. Who knows, maybe I will search them up and make some story out of them. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this one, and if you did, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe to my channel, as this is Apollo Uchiha, and I'm signing off for the day. Peace!